Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the January 5th, 2023 joint meeting of the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission and the Heritage Area Commission of the City of Kingston. Happy New Year, and we are going to start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance, so if everyone would please stand and... I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just a couple of housekeeping issues. If you do have a cell phone, please silence it so that it doesn't interfere with the meeting. If you do have a side discussion, please take it out of the room. There are conference rooms on either side of this room that can be used for that. Bathrooms are to my right. Men's is to the front of the building. Women's to the back. The other thing is, if in case of an emergency, please try not to use the elevator at all. Use the stairs. If you need assistance, we will help you. So that being said, we're going to I'm going to open the meeting at 6:31 p.m. and we're going to move into the first item of the agenda. But before we do that, I want to just make a note that we do have a chairman vacancy on the HAC commission. So I want to just start by having somebody nominate an individual on the HAC to be elected as the commission chair. If there's any discussion, we'll talk about that. Kevin, can you please just turn your mic on?
Yes, I forgot. Okay. Yeah, I'm nominating Bonnie Howland as chairperson of the Heritage Area Commission.
Okay. I'll second that. Okay, that's second by Nettie. Is there any discussion? Bonnie, you have anything? No. Okay, so I'm going to ask HAC members just to vote in favor of Bonnie. I'll start. Kevin?
Aye.
Aye. Janet Marr.
Janet? Nettie?
Aye. Nettie Morano.
And you accept chairmanship. Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a new chair. I also want to introduce a new staff person in our office. Patrick O'Shea just joined us in early December, so he's been here approximately a month today. December 5th was his first day. He is the Historic Preservation Administrator, so he will be doing a lot of the day-to-day administration and operation of both of the commissions. Patrick, do you just want to say a couple of words, just give a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. It's great to be here. I graduated from University of Buffalo in May. I studied urban studies and environmental design. I'm from the area. I'm just from across the river from Red Hook originally. So I grew up in and around Kingston, and it's an old, beautiful city that I love learning more about every day and helping to preserve and restore. So I'm looking forward to working together.
Good. Thank you. Okay, so with that, we're going to move right into the agenda. The first item, I'll turn it over to Bonnie for the HAC adoption of the minutes of the December meeting.
Hi. I was not at the December meeting because of my injury, but do I hear, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from that meeting? Were all the three of you here? So do I hear a motion to adopt the meeting minutes from the December 1st meeting?
I'll make that motion. Kevin.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second Nettie Morano.
Cool. So all in favor, correct, Susan?
Mm-hmm.
All in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Janet Marr.
Aye, Kevin McAvoy.
Aye, Nettie Morano.
Excellent.
Okay. Mark, do you want to take over HLPC?
Sure. Hi, good evening. My name is Mark Grunblatt. I chair the Historic Landmark Preservation Commission, and this is for all the HLPC members. Have you had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting? Are there any questions, any amendments that any member would like to see? All right. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
So moved, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin McAvoy.
Thank you, Kevin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Back to you. No, I think up to me. I'm up next. All right. The next item on our agenda is 311 Wall Street. Is someone here on that application? Evening. If you'd introduce yourselves and give us a quick overview of your plans.
I'm Corbin Plays.
All right, if you give the commission an overview of your plans.
And if we could ask you to just push the button so that your microphone is live when you're speaking, so that it turns green.
Okay.
Amazing, thank you.
We're going to start with 311. 311 is the former Woolworths building on 311 Wall Street. And do we have enough? Keep going for ourselves.
Okay.
So if we look at the first
Thanks.
sheet that I've handed you, it shows what the building looks like today. It's just a blank facade. We are proposing to put retail on the first
Paul,
floor.
I'm just going to ask you to, you really have to kind of speak more into the microphone. If
Okay.
you just pull
All
it
right.
a little closer to you, if that's easier for you.
Okay. All right. So the first sheet of the handout that I provided shows the Woolworths in its present state. Okay. We're proposing to put retail in the front of the Woolworths and we will preserve the existing storefront. For example, the granite base that's underneath the storefront will remain. The doors will remain. Everything will consist as it is today. And as if you look at the following drawing, we have a proposal for the new signage that we would like to put on the building. Now, we presented this about a year ago to the board. There's very few changes to our original program, the type of lettering that we'd like to use. This is reminiscent of the lettering style that Woolworths had, the type of lighting that Woolworths had for the signage. Nothing has really changed. This is just an update to basically state a new marquee sign, so to speak, instead of the previous sign, which was, I believe it says studio.
The name has changed. So the original name was Uptown Studios, and now it's changed to Kingston Studios. And so I think when this printed, it actually was shortened a little bit. It would span the facade as the old sign did. And the only difference is that the letters became a little bit smaller because there's a few more letters. So to accommodate that and make the spacing equal, we shrank the letters a little bit.
And then the next drawing shows the rear of the building. There's a canopy on the rear of the building and 3 large openings. And we're proposing to put signage on the rear of the building similar to the front of the building and change the facade to provide 3 overhead doors. These doors would be black aluminum with glass in the panels. So that is the concept for altering the rear of the building. This would be the Crown Street side.
Can I ask you, the number 311,
That's the street. That's the street. Yes. The address.
that's the address, but it's also the sign.
That's correct.
Correct. Yeah. We would do the same lettering, matching the letters on the front. Same style and color and font.
Right. Are you going with the red color? Yes.
To match as closely as possible. We've
Okay.
actually located a sign company that can do this.
Oh, so it's going to be this color to match the old Woolworths, basically,
Yes.
color. Okay,
Yes.
good.
And the details too, like we're gonna have it kind of CGI or CG'd, so they'll with a computer print the model and print the letters.
Right.
They'll recreate that, and it has like a little metal backing.
It'll stand off a little bit from the wall and be backlit.
Right.
As long as we're talking about that, I do have a question about there's no space between Kingston and Studios.
Yes, there will be. Yeah, I think that was a printing issue on this.
I learned the hard way.
Yeah. No, 'cause sometimes, people are exact. That was a good question.
Those doors go up, or they go,
Yes.
and they go up on the outside or the inside?
Inside.
Inside.
And the awning will be replaced with a new awning.
It's a very big building. It's 17,000 square feet. So we want to get some natural light into the building, open it up.
Will the lettering be lit?
Yes. The lettering will not be lit itself. It's going to be back like a halo behind the lettering.
Okay, so the building will be lit behind
Yes.
the lettering?
Yes.
Okay. And it's set about how far off the building?
It looks like from the image, it looks like they are about 4 inches. I think we have it in our drawing, maybe 3 inches. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, 3 to 4 inches, if we can get a more exact measurement for you,
On page,
if that's necessary.
on the
Page.
second page, there's like a small detail. It's a little bit hard to see on this picture.
Just below the T mark, right below
Okay.
the T, no, below the detail right there. There
There's
you
some
go.
little posts.
It just shows you how it's
Those
offset.
in the shadow.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Do you know the color of the new awning?
I think it would match the same color. I don't know if the color has been selected. I don't know if we have a
It's shown as green on the,
rendering, right?
On the
It was
rendering.
I think we went with a color. I think it's not as bright of a green. I think it's a little bit more muted. It's like
a darker kind of maybe.
olive.
Okay.
Which I think is what this began as, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, the new awning is going to be the same as the current.
Except it doesn't have that little pediment. Yeah, it'll be just a straight.
You're going to need to see a drawing of that? I mean, a more specific rendering of the
A color, you want a color rendering? Is that what you're
color
asking for?
And the shape is just,
Sure.
how far out, how deep it is.
Okay, a detail of that.
Basically a shop drawing of it? Is that what you're looking for?
Yes. Yeah, like a spec showing it on the, so you can see like its shape from the side view
And
and
the construction
front
of
view.
it, you want to see the ribs and so forth. Okay.
One question is not on the signage, it's on the stormwater. Might sound like it's a little out of scope.
Kevin, please turn your mic thing.
It might, yeah, but where I'm going with it is, have you determined who the archaeologist will be yet? The archaeologist? Yeah. Is it Joe Diamond, Hartkin?
No, we have an alternate. Joe is working on another project.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
So we have an alternate consultant who is knowledgeable of the area, and Joe, I believe they've worked on a couple of projects
Oh, okay.
together.
Yeah.
We're going to want the name of the archaeologist submitted to the city for the record, and somewhat as we discussed at the planning board, the same. We're going to want them to be on site whenever any excavation is taking place. And then we're going to want just a narrative protocol of how, if anything is unearthed, if an artifact is uncovered and discovered, how that will be handled.
Go ahead. But
So the company is called HCS, Hudson Cultural Services, and our representative there is Beth Selig.
and we will have the resume of that individual for review and to see if that is acceptable with the city.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Going back to signage really quickly, I know that there are 2 retail spaces that are being proposed on the Wall Street frontage of the building. Once those tenants are confirmed, obviously you would need to return back to these commissions to review the signage that they are proposing, and there is specific guidelines, as Paul, you're well aware of the signage requirements for the Pike plant structure itself, both underneath the canopy and parallel with the street. The other thing I think that this commission should, at that point in time, want to discuss would be the window signage. Not be, the window signage be limited so that the entire windows are not covered. And that there's a visual kind of connection for people that are walking along the sidewalk into the retail space.
Is there an issue now with the signage that's within the windows? Is that an issue, or we're just talking about future?
Well, once you have the retail component, typically the planning board does have a policy that they'll limit it to 20% of the window surface can be covered with signage. So the planning board, when they're doing their review here, will most likely impose that restriction. So that will make that an issue at that point in time. Yes, that will have to be removed or reduced.
I understand what the new
It's also a public safety, and that's how it originally came about. It was a public safety concern for, if anything, activity going on behind those windows is not visible by officers or, public officials. That was the concern there.
Okay, I understand. All right. So from what I'm gathering tonight, you want a full set of drawings for the canopy and a color sample. And you want the resume of our archaeologist.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Anything else?
Do we have the colors of you painted the facade on Wall Street before? Is that staying?
That was as close as I know, that is the original color that has been there for a number of years. We haven't changed that color.
I think it was painted. It was painted a few years ago.
Are you aware of that?
May have been from an earlier owner as well. I think you guys have been involved for the past, 2-3 years?
Yeah, I don't have any knowledge that it was painted while we've been there.
And we need to see a color swatch, of course, right?
Our intent was not to change the color at this time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Right. We were going to keep the color.
We would repair it and match it exactly as it is.
Okay, so we're just looking for the color on the awning.
I think that blue color kind of goes nicely with the
Red, yeah, it looks great.
I think also going back to the original review, when we were looking at this as Uptown Studios for the seasonal use, we talked about the front face of the building on Wall Street, and at the time you said you weren't intending to do any color change or any facade upgrades, just the signage. Is that going to be the same? Right. Okay, that's basically what I was asking. Thank you.
All right. Does any other member of Historic Landmark Preservation Commission have additional questions for the applicant?
I just wanted to, in the staff notes, we talk a little bit about, again, that they still have the food truck component in the back. So that is something that we've discussed with them in the past. There's no outdoor eating areas, and these food trucks are going to be there to supply or provide services for the events that take place. These aren't going to be open on a regular basis, correct, Corbin?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make that note for the commission members. I also wanted to direct you to look at the site lighting and the design and the style of the fixtures. If you have any comments on that, I think it's appropriate to advise now the applicants to look at that. You want to take a minute? Yeah, the lights in these.
Not in this package. I had it in
Okay.
the planning package.
Yeah.
And those are basically just a small fixture, wall mounted, no pole mounted.
Right.
And it's just a adjustable light fixture that if we had some lights that the glare went into an adjacent property or whatever, they could be adjusted easily in the field. So these are just wall lights.
I think the other big change from the last time is in these plans. The original proposal had outdoor bathroom or facilities. They're proposing now to construct indoor restrooms, ADA accessible. Each retail unit will have their own facility, and then the large space will have multiple facilities on both the main floor and the basement level, true, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, but the basement is just storage at this point in time. No additional use, just storage, correct? Okay, good. Okay, that was a big change. And you put in, not HVAC, fire suppression system is being put in the entire structure, correct?
That's correct, yes.
But HVAC is not at this point in
Not
time.
at this point. This is not a condition. Only the restrooms will be conditioned spaces.
How come you wouldn't put HVAC in at this time? I'm just asking
it's-
while the space is wide open, I would think, and you're looking at, attracting events.
The most important aspect of this is to meet the energy code. And we have 17,000 square feet of structure. And it's going to be a major expense to upgrade this building in order to insulate the walls, the roof, the floor, so forth. And that's the obstacle that we're dealing with right now. We can, financially deal with the retail space, and that will be simple mini splits for the retail space. But this fireman space that we have, high ceilings and so forth, is going to take a very expensive system in order to condition that space. And until we get a real tenant, I should say, somebody who is more than just a pop-up space, it's we're looking for a future use of the building. So sometime in the next, hopefully within a year or so or two, we'll be back before the board with a different tenant.
Right. So it kind of leads me to the next question, because as you're saying that obviously the structure itself doesn't have a lot of insulation. So I'm thinking events, if you're not talking music events, because sound obviously would be, I think,
this is all hard
not
surfaces.
conducive to musical kind of venue in that type of space at this point in time. I would think the noise and the reverberations wouldn't be.
We have the theater, 323.
Right. So
And this is all hard surfaces, concrete block walls, bar joist roof, metal decking, a concrete floor. It just doesn't lend itself to that type of musical events.
okay. That's all I had on the same bag. Anybody else have anything?
Pardon?
All right, what refrigerant are you considering?
For what?
We were just discussing HVAC
Oh,
at a
I think
future date, but.
It would
yeah.
be code compliant standard for like a mini split, which is what he said, which is, I'm not sure what the gas is called. Is it 402? It would be standard to code.
But we're only talking about it this,
Out of curiosity, it doesn't affect the signage at all.
we're talking really the retail space, 3,000 square foot would be conditioned, and the large number of restrooms that we have to have, those would be conditioned.
Oh. Yeah, upon receipt. Yeah. Okay, I think we've covered everything we're going to need to give you approval on this building. Are there any other questions from HLPC members? Then I would move that we table this till next month pending receipt of detail on the awning and
The archaeologist.
and the archaeologist's resume. Is there anything else still outstanding, Sue? I think that's everything I took notes on.
Well, you want color renderings, correct?
Or at least
You want the
The color
awning
swatch.
specifications
the
and you want
awning
it
specs,
color,
including the color.
right, okay.
Yeah. Part of we know it's going to be green. Beyond that, let us know what you're zeroing in
Okay.
on. And I think that's about it. All right, is there any further discussion on my motion to table? Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Right? This does not require a seeker finding, does it?
No, not to table.
Okay. All right, then I will call the roll. Kevin,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
I also vote yes. Thank you very much. It's going to be wonderful to see this come back to life.
Thank you.
HAC needs to just make a motion to table.
I'll pass that over to you, Bonnie.
So do I hear a motion from an AJC member to table this till next month's meeting?
Motion, Kevin McAvoy.
Do I hear a second?
Eddie Morano, second.
Questions, comments, concerns? No? So I'll call the roll. Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and Bonnie Howland. I also vote aye.
Yes.
You're up next on 320. Let me get this back on. 323 Wall Street. If you'd give us an overview of your vision for what you'd like to see just down the block.
Okay, at 323, what I've done in the handout that I provided, if you turn about fourth page or so, you have an elevation of the existing storefront, which has been altered over time. And what we would like to propose is that we're going to do exploratory work and take a look at what's behind the existing siding. The following picture shows a facade and a marquee sign on the front of 323. And hopefully we would like to see, when we expose the face of the building, this facade may be somewhat intact, and then we would like to restore that facade. Okay.
When you say restore the facade, what do you,
Well, I believe it's a masonry stucco
Okay.
type finish.
so you,
And that's what we would do. We would restore the stucco and then resurface it to match what we can find the historically correct colors for the building.
okay, good.
Okay. Looking at that photograph, that historic photograph, we would like to add the marquee sign back to the building. We addressed this about a year ago to the board, and we'd like to follow through. Instead of the lettering that's there right now, it would say the Kingston. Could pass around this sign here as far as what it could possibly look like. And it would be a lit sign. It would be 90 degrees to the face of the building. The colors would be reminiscent of the colors of the sign that was, the original sign. And as far as we have had a structural engineer from Socrates, Clapper Engineering, take a look at the facade and take a look at the ironwork that still remains. There will be some upgrades that are required to handle the sign, but we will have an engineer involved in designing the brackets, designing the structure for this new sign. It will be lit, it will be multicolor.
This is the color scheme that you want to go with, but you're looking at, because we had two
Correct.
plans that were provided, and this design doesn't match the others. So I think what we're going to want is to see
Yes.
the final design. Have you've gotten structural analysis to determine that this is feasible to be
Yes.
supported on the building?
Yes.
Because I'm going to want us to have copies of that if you have something.
Yeah, we have, so we had Brian Clapper, he did probes on the inside of the wall.
Okay.
And was able to determine the structural integrity of the wall. And then he designed a apparatus on the inside with steel that would follow the inside facade, and it would penetrate through and then support the sign from the inside. So you wouldn't see most of that.
The structure.
The
Okay.
structure on the inside.
Okay.
No, we intentionally are not touching the pipeline.
But the sign marked where the flat sign parallel to the street is hanging over the pipeline. From what I see here.
Yeah, that doesn't appear to touch
It doesn't touch,
the
yeah.
the pike either, but it hangs right immediately over it. So again, structurally, I would want to see those drawings and have our engineer take a look at those and the building department.
Yep.
Just to confirm.
I don't remember. And you have whether or not visually it can cover the front like that.
That's a question I'd have to look at. I don't know.
And the last drawing or the last plate that I've provided in the handout is an example of the Mohican that has one of these blade type signs. So it's quite common in downtown areas and so forth to have these type of signs. And I think it gives it a little bit of more life to the uptown area.
Right.
You know?
I think what would be helpful for both commissions would be, once you have the full composite of both signs together, is to actually put them into the street
Street view.
face rather than just a flat drawing, but look at it from a visual perspective. So if I'm standing at the corner of John Street and Wall Street and looking down the street, what am I going to, what's it going to look like visually? I think that's what is going to help this commission tremendously to evaluate. And I think I like reintroducing the marquee and this signage. I think it's wonderful, and I'm glad that you're looking at restoring the full facade of the building. So I would like to see that kind of a little bit more information on that as well.
Okay. Any other questions about?
I just have one. So you said you were going to be removing what's there to see what's behind it, hoping that it was in decent shape. If it's
Yes.
not, what's the plan?
Its plan is if we're not going to be able to restore it, we'll have to come back to the board with an alternate material for the facade. No one really, I think, is in love with what is on the building right now. And I think everybody would like to see it changed.
Yes. Cool.
So what would the total height from grade be to the top of the new sign?
This one here.
Yeah.
It's like, you can see that it's on this small version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever drawing A-001 is the key to the whole thing right now.
Yes.
Oh, wait, here.
Yeah.
We do have a JPEG.
35 or 25?
Oh, do you have the JPEG? Or the PDF?
Yeah, there's an 8.5 by 11 here, but it's still too small to read.
I think it's probably, I don't want to be set in stone on this, but I think it's probably 40 feet
40
or
feet
40 or 48. I'm not sure. I can't.
from
this
the
looks-
street to the
yeah,
top of the
Yeah,
street.
yeah, because this looks like 28 and this looks like 20. So 48.
So it's just for tonight, from the sidewalk to the top of the sign, 50 foot.
You think about 50 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you an exact number.
Yeah, we'll
When we
provide
meet
it.
with
We'll
the-
provide the number.
When we meet with the sign manufacturer, we'll be able to give you a hard number.
Okay, so we'll confirm that.
Is there a limit?
Well, the question, is we'll have to look at the zoning and the sign regulations.
It's just,
How high this can be. It might kick a variance. I'm gonna look at that. We just thought about that earlier today. But I want to look at that. So I'll look at that with you between now and next month.
okay.
Okay? I don't think it should stop you from pursuing this
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
signage, though.
yeah.
I don't want that to happen.
We'll keep going with our design.
Fine, and we'll
Yeah.
develop that rendering for you.
Right.
I was curious if the building department had records regarding the insertion of the more modern windows and the change to the front of the building. Have you found anything in their records describing what they were going from to get this?
I have not been able to find any information on this particular facade except for these historical photos. We can't find anything in between.
I was curious.
From looking at the dimensions, I think the window openings are the same. We could explore probing the inside to see if that, but when you can see the.
Right,
I think the
and
window
would you
opens-
be looking to recreate this older arched and diamond shape?
I would like to replicate this as much as possible. And we'll determine that by removing a section of it that we can see enough of the background, see how much of it was left and what was altered.
I can tell you that the building next to it removed a facade to get to where it is today, and it was pretty well preserved. So I'm quite hopeful that you'll be able to see pretty clearly. And if with any luck at all, the old theater / furniture store / production space will be able to reemerge.
I imagine that they just, for cost reasons, they probably just went right over the old one. I'm hoping. Like scrape it off would have probably cost more. So maybe they just put sleepers and then put the new.
Probably like fairing strips and
Yeah.
then they just, that's,
That's what I'm.
that would
picturing,
be, that would be wonderful.
You'll be curious to see. All right. Do members of either commission have questions, further questions for the applicant? I'm asking,
I
we'll
would
be asking that.
suggest that, I don't think it's ready.
Yes.
Like, what's your time? I know it depends on all this. Do you have any idea?
I'd like to have it up in the spring.
Like the signs, fabrication times, things have long lead times now, so I'm not exactly sure, but we have started the ball rolling with the different companies, so as soon as we can get into their kind of schedule,
All right, I'm going to move that the HLPC table this application until next month, pending your chances to do some exploration and come back to us with some more detailed information about the design. Do I hear a second?
Second, Nettie Morano.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote yes. Thank you. This
Thank
is
you.
Thank you.
exciting.
Thank you.
So same thing for the HAC. I make a motion to table this until next month. Do I hear a second?
Second, Nettie Morano.
I'm going to call the roll to see if we all agree. Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
All right. Next up is 2-8 and 10 Crown Street. Do we have someone here on that application?
I do not see them. Do you want to, I know that's the last item for the HLPC, but maybe we do have some people here. If you don't mind, if the HAC moves forward with theirs and just see if Paul does show up, the timely signs was supposed to be here.
Okay, so if we've got someone we're expecting, do we need to make, give a call in the meantime?
Okay.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, so we're going to hold off on taking any discussion on item 5 at this time to see if the applicants do come. So we're going to move into the HAC's agenda. And we're going to start with item number 6, 759 Broadway.
Can you push the button so the light is green? Introduce yourself if
Okay.
you could.
Good evening, Shlomo Ansbacher. I work
Hello
for
there.
Community Home Care. We've been in Kingston now for about 8 years. Till now, we were in the Millard Building, and we felt there wasn't enough foot traffic for us. So we moved to 759 Broadway. So it's a corner Broadway, and I forgot what the cross street is. And we just want to put up a sign there on the top so people know us, see our location.
It's St. James is
Okay,
the cross
thanks.
street.
Yes.
So as it says, it's literally mounted to the building face. Who's producing the sign?
It's Signorama of Duchess.
Okay. Are there any, do you have any concerns or anything, Sue, for this? Do they need to be additionally insured if it's attached to the building?
No, if it overhangs, no, they don't need additional insurance here. The question is there any, first of all, is there any illumination?
No.
On this? So they're not illuminated. Okay, they're not reflective material. I'm not familiar with the material itself. They describe it as a 3mm ACM with calendared vinyl and over laminate. So I'm not,
So it's like a plastic.
okay,
Yeah, it just fits in a small frame so they can mount it to the building.
okay,
4 screws probably. It's not a heavy material at all.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And it's laminated to weather
Correct.
proof it. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Any window signage?
No,
Or
not yet.
anything?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Okay,
We're
okay.
like to keep for now, a clean look. That's
I think I found that if it came.
My gun.
Looking at the Broadway building standards, I found that if it came off the building at all, that would require a variance, though it seems like I wasn't sure from the image if it kind of came off the building at all. It looks like it's actually sort of
No,
flat. It
right, it's
doesn't
going to be
protrude
flat
at
to the
all.
building,
So
yes.
that comment of mine is, not valid. That would not break any Broadway standards as far as code is concerned.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard what he said. It doesn't stand off of the building. It's attached to it, so it doesn't fall under the research that he did needing the variance. Is that correct?
Yeah, there was one more thing about the Broadway standards when it comes to sizing of text on on signage, and it's that under the main text, if there's any descriptive text under it, it has to be no larger than half the size of the larger text, which it looks like the undertext 759 Broadway, the phone number, all of that is well under
Yeah,
half the size.
Okay, so it would comply.
Yeah, it
be
would
compliant.
comply.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, thank you. All right, so that removes that issue. That's all.
Do we have to do the seeker first?
It's a type 2, so you just have to recognize it as type 2 action.
Okay.
And then just make a motion, second, recognize it as type 2, and then just
Okay.
everybody accept that.
So do I hear a motion to accept this as a type 2 action under seeker?
Oh, so moved. Kevin?
Kevin, do I hear a second?
Janet Mar, second.
Janet Mar, second. Any other questions or comments on the HAC regarding that? All right, so I'll call for the vote. So Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. And do I hear a motion to approve the sign as presented for the new signage on the corner of, sorry, what are those cross streets?
James.
St. James, as presented.
Janet Mar, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
On a second.
Anyone on a second? Any other questions, comments, concerns on that? If not, I'll call for the roll. Janet,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
and Bonnie Howland. I vote aye.
Okay, thank you. Have a great night.
All right, our next one is number 7, which is 515 and 517 Wilbur Avenue.
Is that chair crooked? Wait, is that chair okay?
Hi, everybody. If you want to, since we have a nice contingent here, if you guys want to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your project.
I'm on Dean Niles.
Kieran Tompkins. Jonathan Niles. William Tompkins. I'm the owner of 517 Wilbur Avenue.
So who out of this lovely group wants to tell us a little about this project?
So I guess I'll start seeing
Okay.
the applicant on his.
Excellent.
I'm Kieran Tompkins. I've been running distilleries in the Hudson Valley for the last 10 years.
Okay.
Or if anybody here is familiar with any of those, if that's in your wheelhouse of what you're interested in. But we're looking to actually put what is called a remote tasting room in Kingston. So our main production facility is in West Park. So it's fairly not invasive. And what we're looking to do is convert in the old auto body garage, I think it was Tony Minervi, into a tasting room and a small canning production area for cocktails to go in the old production area. And that's pretty much a very broad top-down view of what we're looking to
Anyone
do here.
who's not familiar with this property, it's the old Minervini auto body business that was at the corner of Greenkill Avenue and Wilbur Avenue. Kyla has it up on the screen right now, the masonry building. So some of the improvements, it falls in the heritage area. Obviously, it's a very heavily trafficked intersection by both vehicles, and now with the Empire State Trail, it has a pedestrian / bicycle path running also along the Greenkill Avenue side of this. It does have access off of Greenkill, even though it's a Wilbur Avenue address, and it does have an access off of South Pine, which they're not going to be utilizing at this time. They're developing the site with the focus of using the Wilbur or the Greenkill access. On the Wilbur Avenue side, what they're doing is they're closing up the overhead doors, removing those and replacing them with some windows. They're going to be painting the structure. The facade, the material that they're using is going to be matching the masonry, the architectural masonry block units that are there. They're also removing the paved area and replacing that with a grass area, which also helps with their stormwater. So that's a positive thing on that side. Also on that side, there's an upper level behind the building where they're going to be putting off-street parking. For a couple of reasons, safety and visually, what they're proposing there is to put a fence up, solid kind of wood stockade fence on the edge there that will help to shield that, screen that area, along with some small shrubbery. On the Greenkill side, what they're proposing to do is again clean up the whole facade. The whole structure is getting repainted and repointed, I believe, correct?
Correct.
Okay. They're going to be putting where currently there's a little bit of some off-street parking where the owner used to park. They're putting an outdoor dining kind of tasting area, which I think will be particularly nice given the Empire State Trail. They're also putting bike rack or facility there for bicyclists as well. They're adding an ADA ramp from the rear parking area and into the building, and they've already done some new step work there. Exterior lighting, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So currently, Interstate Battery is illuminating about half of our parking lot right now. So we're going to try to not add any more light pollution to the area. You can see down in there, we do have some proposed lights. We're looking for LED, energy, keep that energy usage down. But there's already an existing light post on the corner. We would like to utilize that one. That way we can install something on the building more towards the Wilbur Avenue side. That way we can, instead of having one very bright light, we can have two half intensity lights to kind of spread it out a little bit more. Again, reducing light pollution to the surrounding residential area. And we have attached on there the LED light panels that we would like to use for that.
Also a large storage unit. You want to talk a little bit about that? It's an exterior storage unit that's being proposed in the upper parking area, but the container is being covered so that aesthetically it'll be very pleasing. It's not.
Yeah, so in keeping with the stockade fence look that we'd like to have on the Wilbur facing side to keep any headlights down for the parking, we'd like to carry that look with the containers that we'd like to use for annex storage. We would like to have those put in place on our property line up against Kingston Mechanical there. This would end up looking pretty much just like an extension of that fence, kind of blocking things off. That way from Greenkill Avenue side, where we'll have most of that foot traffic, would not look like containers just sitting in the back of our area. And we'd like to have that clad on both sides, so it looks like a fence from either direction.
Does anyone have any questions? I'm very excited. This is walking distance from my home, so.
Oh, fantastic. Yes,
Have it all.
fantastic. Love to hear that. I mean, we do have the rendering of a white painted building. I mean, we find that white would probably be most historically accurate, pleasing, and uninvasive. Our first choice would be more of a darker charcoal color, which would be almost an inversion of what we see there. You can also see on that rendering, make sure I'm on the right one, that we'd like to install our signage as painted on the building though, which is a little more of that 19th century feel. Painted is on signage as opposed to mounted. We'd like to install under soffit lighting for point lighting on the face as well. That's more for to be hidden. So point lights. Let's see.
So this, just to interrupt you, this charcoal gray, it was what it looks like here. This one, you're saying you're not going to do the gray, you'd rather do white?
No, we would prefer to do charcoal gray and then have white logo instead.
Got
So
it.
an
Okay,
inversion
okay.
of those colors.
Understood.
That
Okay.
would be our preference. But the rendering is in the white. As you can see, the planter boxes, again, more with the stockade look. We like to have those for curbing, ballasts, prevent any for car barriers as well. That's our desire. In the outdoor seating area, we're looking to do paver stones down there for pervious surface, a little nicer looking than the gravel. As far as the driveway, we're looking to do a gravel driveway, not paved. Yes, which would eliminate that one of the driveways there as well by making this into an outdoor patio seating area. That would probably help that traffic situation in that area. We'd like to also have signage on the Greenkill Avenue side, and we're looking to do no more than 7 by 7, which keeps it within the 50 square feet code per side. Just the two, Greenkill and Wilbur side.
So that's going to be more of an actual sign versus the logo like you have on the Wilbur side? Or is that going to be, so
They'll
that'll
still
be,
paint it, still paint.
okay.
But we would like to do painted signage.
I like your logo. I think that's
Mhm.
very classy.
And then as far as the ramp, that looks to be the most. When we seek to do the ramp, we'll have to fill in the area that if any of you have seen this building in question, it's kind of old trestle bridge went through there. We'll need to fill in, but we also have a lot of those old blocks they've used on the trestle. So we'd like to carry the existing wall on the Wilbur Avenue side, repurpose some of the blocks that we have on our property and install them meeting up with the corner of the building. So carry that trestle bridge wall look to the building. So it'll mate in with what is already existing now.
And that's where the ADA ramp will come
Yes.
into play?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it'll be worked into the ramp because we'll have to fill and backfill. So it'll be a retaining wall.
Okay. I love everything about it. Do we have any questions? And anyone in the,
Time frame of finishing this.
Hoping by late spring, early summer. That's what we'd like to do. You know, as soon as possible.
I know. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
They are also on the planning board's agenda for January as well. So they'll be coming to the board.
Were there any other concerns from your perspective from us?
No, I think it was a very well put
Yeah.
together application, very comprehensive. So give them credit for that.
So do I hear a motion to, to type 2, that's what I was like, I know this. To consider this a type 2 action under seeker.
So moved, Kevin.
Do I hear a second?
Janet Mars, second.
Any other questions on that? For that, I'll call the roll. Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve all of the changes, renovations, improvements to this Wilbur Avenue, Greenkill Corner building as presented? Does that work?
Janet Mars, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Any other questions or comments on anything they presented? Very good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll call the roll on that one.
I was gonna say, don't.
Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Last
Yeah,
thing,
good luck.
is there anything to the, I know that you're not the planning board, is there anything that you feel we should bring to the planning board to augment this presentation?
I don't believe so, not at this time, but if we do see, so we reviewed this basically for this meeting with the more of the aesthetic in mind. So as we get into the planning board aspects, we'll look more at the drainage and that kind of thing. If there's anything that we see glaring, we'll be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Okay.
Sure.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
If they want, you know, they presented in white with the darker, if it's lifted, they have to get permission. I mean.
Yeah, that is a good, that is a good question. I was about to ask that. If we were to do a choice of between two colors, would we be just give you kind of
I would not think, I mean, if the commission members don't have any objection to that colors flip, that switch, I think
Either
that's
is okay.
something, yeah, that we
Very
could.
white.
Yeah, you're not changing it from that
We will
to
make it-
sunshine yellow or something
No,
like that.
not
So
fluorescent colors of any kind.
Okay, so we'll just make a note of that for the record. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Luck. Yeah.
So 40, we can move on to 42 wall.
Yep.
All right. Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else want 42?
Nettie? Is that what we have? Yeah, no. And there he is.
Yeah.
I think I'm good on with the,
Okay, great.
He's here.
oh.
Okay, cool.
Good evening,
Hi, Scott.
Scott Dutton, 19 Canfield Street, architect for the next three applications.
Want to dive into 42 wall?
Sure. Duke Dog LLC is Brad Jordan, Todd Jordan, and Julie Jordan. And they purchased this building. If you look at the 8.5 by 11s, we have some color photographs in there. It's a building begging to see some love and attention. It's interesting, it has a Wall Street address, but it also has Fair Street frontage. And when we looked at the design of the building, we proposed to make the primary entrance on Fair Street. So what's before you in the architectural drawings is a request to put a cross gable on Fair Street and a traditional front porch. That you'll find in the architectural drawings. We have plans and elevations. I think the cleanest one to look at would be the last page in the 11 by 17s. Where you'll find a depiction of what it would look like from Fair Street. So instead of looking like the back of the house, it'll read as the front of the house. Yeah.
Huge improvement. So the shrubbery and all of that is going to be
Fresh start.
fresh start,
Yep.
taken down and revamped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much.
Already
unique.
removed a lot of it on Fair Street, I mean, Jim Niles at Herzog's naturally will be doing that, and we haven't discussed exactly what would go back in, but that's the idea.
Adding the gable, the upper floor, the new roof, is really just to give them more storage space, or is
It's purely aesthetic, frankly.
aesthetic? Okay.
That's, if you look at the floor plans, that's a master bedroom. Right now, it has a shed roof that comes down. Doesn't feel very nice
Okay.
up in there. And so the cathedral ceiling won't be a full cathedral, but we're going to frame it as a full cathedral and then bring the
I
collar
got it.
ties down.
Yep.
And that'll just clean it up so that there's more wall space
Right.
above the head of the window to where the roof comes out. But it started with an aesthetic impulse. So. They'll do as we've done in other projects together, clean up the siding. We're not ready to present colors or anything, but we are hoping that you'll look favorably on what we're proposing tonight so that we can get a building permit released. So.
No, this does not require planning board. This is strictly a heritage review and then building department. Okay.
We have a set of building permit plans in for review that don't go anywhere until we can pass
Got it.
your report.
Does anyone have any questions? Again, I think it's pretty straightforward. Is this a seeker one too? Do I hear a motion to approve, to consider this a type 2 action under seeker?
Kevin, motion.
Do I hear a second?
Eddie, second?
Open on the floor. Any questions on that? If none, I'll call the roll. Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve this project at 42 Wall Street with the new exterior porch, new gable end roof, and some new windows and doors?
Motion made. Kevin.
Do I hear a second?
Our second.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions, comments, concerns? No? None. I'll call the roll. Throw you off a little. Janet,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. The next one is 150 Washington Avenue.
Yep.
Okay.
Same applicant, the Jordan family. They recently purchased this building. This is a much smaller alteration, more of a freshen up on the interior and removing interventions that previous owners did. The one thing that we are in need of approval from your board for is this small shed dormer on the side of the building, for the north side, just over the stairwell. As you go from the second floor up into the attic, which is a full finished attic space, the headroom is about 3.5 feet.
Oh,
So
wow.
we want to take advantage of all of that great storage space up there. Just pop up a little shed dormer that's depicted again on the last sheet in the architectural drawings.
Got it up behind you too on the,
Barely visible from the street. When you're looking straight on from the sidewalk opposite the building, you probably won't see it. If you see it, you'd see just a sliver. Where you might catch a glimpse of it is when you're going down Washington Avenue. The buildings on that block are fairly close to one another. There's not a lot of space between the buildings, so I don't think there's much of a visual impact here. And the shed is not the full length of
it's not the full length. Okay, that's what I was going to ask
just
you.
over the stair.
Okay,
And you can see that on sheet A102.
And this is actually taking a 2-family to a 1-family.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if it was a legal 2-family
Right.
or not. I mean, it sort of cobbed together as a 2-family
Right.
where you walked in the front door and there was a thin sheetrock wall and a hollow core door that went up the stair. The kitchen on the second floor was no longer than this table. So this will bring it back to what it originally was. And if you know any of the other projects that we've done together, the Jordans always do first-class job of cleaning up the landscaping, tying everything off, and yes, yeah, and 90 Emerson and 120 Robin. Yeah.
You have a very colorful house right next door, so. Does anyone on the HAC have any questions for Scott on this one? Do I hear a motion to accept this as a type 2 action under seeker?
A motion made, Kevin.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions, comments? Oh. Got it. If none, I'll call the roll. Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Bonnie, I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve 150 Washington Avenue, the home renovations as presented by Scott, including the new shed dormer on the northwest side of the building?
Janet Morris, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything? No? If not, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Thank you.
One more time. Thanks. 25 years.
The
of
next
training by the
one
Queen.
is 59 Pearl Street, also known as 236 Wall Street.
Yeah, this is the former St. Joseph's School, purchased by Charles Blakeman, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago. We've obtained planning board approval for everything but the top floor. We'll be back before the planning board. The proposed use is office spaces in the former classrooms, and then the auditorium, the top floor, which is an incredibly elegant room with high ceilings, immense crown molding. Use that as event space. So as we've dug into the mechanicals and we're further along with getting this listed on the National Register of Historic Places, we identified the need to come to HAC for these condensing units for the HVAC. We've located them in the sort of alleyway, if you will, at the back of the building between the convent and the former school. They're all individual units. They're fairly small. I'm sure you've seen them before, about this wide or this deep, maybe this long, and 3.5 to 4 feet tall when they're on a stand. If you look at the second sheet in the set, you'll see them all lined up like little soldiers in the alleyway.
Yep.
There are 2 that wrap around to the north side, but they're at the back of the property still. And then the other element, which is up on Wall Street and kind of hatched out, is a new vestibule that would just be for the elevator that we're installing in the northwest corner of the building. There are a number of steps to get up to the first floor. So in order to provide handicapped accessibility to the event space, the elevator will have a half-level stop at the parking lot level. There are more detailed plans on A106. I'm going to blow up view of that. It's essentially an all glass vestibule. and there's an elevation view of it. It would be bronze aluminum. And we've been collaborating with our historic consultants, Heritage Consulting, who are one of the top consultants in the country on this, to submit this. Ultimately, it will need to be approved by the New York State SHPO and the National Park Service. And we all believe that this is consistent with Preservation Brief 14 issued by the Secretary of the Interior, that we're making this as light as possible. We're not trying to replicate history and create a false narrative with it. It's clearly a new element. And it will be transparent in that it's glass on all three sides.
Driveway, Scott?
Does, and I can tell you that we have looked at every possible place on the property to locate an elevator, and this is the only place that works. So it's not a question of whether, you know, that this is our preference and that there's a second choice. It's a very complicated building.
Yeah.
You know, it's a classic parochial school, center hall. It's ironically the same building at Adams Street that we worked on. I don't know if do you remember that? It's the identical building.
Wow.
The church at that time had a set of plans done,
Moved it over there.
replicated it, you know, throughout regions. But it's tricky. You come in the front, you come up the steps, you come in the front door, and you've got stairs on either side, bringing you up to the top floor. There's a center hall, classrooms down either side. So there aren't many places where you can locate.
Yeah, my son went to CCD here, so I know it very well.
Yeah. And this is the trickiest elevator project that we've ever done. So tricky, in fact, that we had to hire an elevator consultant out of New York City. It's not a standard elevator. It's not an Otis of Schindler. It's a ThyssenKrupp. This is a totally custom
Wow.
elevator to be able to have doors on both sides in this configuration. None of the big boys in the elevator world could do this. So, and you can see, if you look at A106, how desperately tight we are to comply with the ADA. There's a dotted 5-foot radius circle up there in the upper, you had it. Yep. We comply when the doors open. That's how
Wild.
tight this is. We've been chasing fractions of inches for months on this one. So ultimately, if this board approved this, we still have to get approval from New York State SHPO and from the National Park Service. So 2 parts, the vestibule and the
condensers in the
condensing
back.
units.
So that's all we need to approve tonight. Are there any questions from anybody? That was my only question, was again, going there every Wednesday night, knowing that side road. But yeah, it looks like you've done your due diligence from my perspective. Does anyone else have any questions on its placement, its purpose, its finishes, its any of those things?
Yep. Correct. Yep. And I think part 1 cleared, if I'm not mistaken, just before This building was not in the district. So we petitioned the SHPO and the Park Service to expand the district. And remember getting comments, they wanted some additional photographs of context just before the holidays. So if part one wasn't approved, it's on a clear path to its approval. I didn't check that intentionally. That would have been auto-populated by the EAF mapper, and it's probably because of the location.
Sits in-
No. Correct.
Good. Okay, cool. So do I hear a motion to approve this as a type 2 action under seeker?
Janet Moore, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
On a second?
That motion's on the floor. Any questions or anything? If none, I'll call the roll. Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve, which I have the address wrong on this. 59 Pearl, also known as 236 Wall Street, for the condensers and the elevator vestibule as presented by Scott.
So moved. Kevin?
Do I hear a second?
Janet Moore, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions, comments, concerns? No. If none, I'll call the roll. Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Scott.
much.
Oh, thank you.
Historic landmark question. Are you going to apply to have the city also extend the district? Because we're going to have to do it separately.
That's a new one. It's new to me. We hired Paris Consulting to do that.
Yeah, please do ask. I think it would be, we would want them to be
On the local level,
congruent.
so even though you're going through state and national nominations, you have to do a separate local. Okay.
Thanks.
I think we're going to jump back to item number 5. It's number 2-8 and 10 Crown Street.
Good evening. Apologize for my late arrival.
All good. It worked out
Throw
smoothly.
myself on the mercy of the boards.
Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Paul Bikert. I'm the president of Timely Signs in Kingston. And we are representing another Blakeman project. This one is for NOAA. This is a combined application of 2 parcels. It's 2 through 8, which is the parking lot area. And there is a historic place, the Tappan House on the 10 Crown Street parcel. The reason we're doing it together is because the owner is interested in improving the traffic flow for the parking lot that currently is reserved for 273 Wall Street, the Citizens Bank building that you guys, I'm sure, have applications for. And they're trying to get people to, when people do go drive around the Tappan House per se, and go out that one way, which is on the closer to the north front side. They're concerned that if someone goes through that, I guess down that one-way street, that there could be pedestrian traffic. So we're trying to get some traffic control devices on that parcel, as well as just a simple hanging sign for 10 Crown, which is fairly modest in size. I think it's about half the size of the former Crown sign that was in the same place. The change of use, there is no change of use. It is essentially a cocktail bar as it was previously, from my understanding. The branding for Saltbox was provided to us by the client. So that was provided to us from NOAA. Any other questions? The directional signage is designed to be fairly, I wouldn't say discreet, but I guess we're trying to minimize that and making it all consistent throughout. All black, I think with the exception of the stop sign, which has a red element.
My only comment on
Mhm.
this, I mean, I think the signage is very nice and is very complimentary to the area and the uses on site. One sign for the exit, the one-way exit, there's an alternate, whether it be wall mounted or freestanding on a post mount. My recommendation would be we go with the post mount and not the wall mount because of the nature of the structure, the building. I'd rather
Right,
not
that's
see
why
any-
I didn't think you guys would want the
Yeah.
wall mount, but it was requested by the client. I left it in the presentation. I thought we could have a
I would say
discussion. so-
no to that. I mean, that would
Okay.
be my recommendation for the commissions, that we
Okay.
stay with the post mount. So that would be something you'll need to include.
Yeah, I think that's an absolute with the stonework here.
Sure.
I-
I'm more comfortable with it as well. I do not want to drill into the building, so.
Yeah. We really don't want that.
Sure.
And
For us.
I am curious as to, I remember this building when it was offices for, well, first Kingston Savings, then Heritage Savings, then Albany Savings, then All Bank, and now Citizens.
Right.
It was their mortgage office.
Right.
And the roof out the back was the drive-through for
Mhm.
the bank. And they sort of tucked that on the back. What is the agreement? I don't understand the ownership or whether there are rights of way we have to deal with.
Well, it's CV developers who own both of those buildings. They own the Citizens Bank and they own 2 through 8 Crown and also 10 Crown. So I don't know if there's an easement or
I would guess not if it's still under one ownership. I remember
it's all
it
under
being-
one ownership. Noah is Charlie's son, and I think he's managing this particular bar. That's my client, but if you look at the legal, the LLC, I believe I'm fairly certain that it's CV Developers owns all 3 parcels.
That's the way it worked. Now at least 40 years.
Mhm.
So I would.
I don't think any substantive changes happen to like the site plan. I think the uses, what they're concerned with is people just coming in and parking there that are neither for 273 or 10 Crown, 273 Wall Street or 10 Crown. So they just want to kind of improve the look of those. They're kind of run down. They're a mishmash of styles and colors, and some are blue and some are. Citizens has a separate sign, and then there's another where they're trying to combine all of the allowed tenants onto a single panel.
Is there
in a more
any
organized fashion.
agreement regarding the farmers market?
I don't know.
On the parking? I know that at one point they had someone stationed in the parking lot all Saturday morning, warning people that they shouldn't park there.
It's a good question. It's not one that I have an answer to. I can inquire. If is the desire to have parking there on Sunday mornings? It probably, is it Sunday? Saturday morning? And what are the hours of the farmers market?
The farmers market generally goes 9
9 to
a.m.
2.
to 2 p.m.
Okay.
And I think the bank hours have historically been 9 to noon.
Okay. I mean, it's certainly a question I can ask and
Yeah,
get back to you.
they may
on that.
want to, I don't think it really impacts on our review here. I just wanted
Okay.
to call your attention to it. If you've got a pipeline to the owner, perhaps they want to figure out the relationship there and maybe make it a little friendlier
That's
than
valid.
it has been.
Well, yeah, I mean, that sounds like a good, someone who's interested in a steward of the community would want to
Sounds
provide
like
access
the use
for
they're
that.
proposing, at least for the Tappan House, there won't be a lot of conflict.
True.
The signs are not illuminated, so
Correct.
are the letters reflective, given the fact that they're traffic directional
Yes.
tendons.
They won't be
so-
internally illuminated, but they'll be,
But the lettering will be
lettering
reflective
will be
so that headlights
reflective.
will
It'll
pick 'em
probably
up.
be a toned back ivory, so it's not like a
Okay.
bright white, and it'll be
Right.
printed on reflective, but it'll still illuminate at
Okay.
night. Reflective. The lighting for the hanging sign at 10 Crown for the bar is existing. We're not proposing any changes to that. It was previously permitted for the previous tenant, I believe.
That looks like it is overhanging a portion of the right of way as well, so the insurance would have to be handled there. It's hard to tell from the drawings, but it looks like it may hang over a portion of the sidewalk. Want to confirm that.
Yeah, I believe it does.
Yeah, so that just additionally insured.
Okay,
This
and that is
typical-
for the owner.
Yeah, the owner has to provide the city of Kingston as additionally insured because the sign overhangs the public right of way.
Okay,
Standard.
I'll inform them.
All right. Any other questions?
Does it have to be approved by like a traffic commission or anything like that? When you point traffic through,
Now, on site, no,
No.
it's their prerogative. Mhm. Right.
Interior is not governed by the vehicle and traffic code.
in my backyard.
You may. And you better stop right there.
We've gone out of our way to make it a I mean, it's a standard stop sign icon, but it's not MUTCD approved. It's not designed to confuse people to make it look like an official stop sign. Not a government stop sign. Yeah. So if you wanted to, there's no one stopping. No one stopping. You just don't hit a hapless pedestrian while you're doing it, and you'll be fine. So.
He's sticking it to the man.
It's not on when he's.
Oh dear. All right, I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
So move.
Thank you, Robert. Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin?
Thank you, Kevin. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote yes. Okay. And I move that the commission find as fact that the proposed renovations and restoration at 2 through 8 and 10 Crown Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicant Hudson Valley Kingston Development, if done according to the plans and presentation of materials reviewed at this meeting, and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. Sign designs are clean and designed to meet the needs but not distract from the historic character of the building or surroundings. Having traffic circulation signs meet code and provide basic needs to direct and identify uses on the site. The one-way exit must be by post mount, not wall mount. Signs are designed to provide for more than one user to be accommodated, eliminating duplicate or excessive signage. Any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies, including submission of insurance naming the city as an additional insured as required by section 358-9C of the City Code. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 5th day of January 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant and owner for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert? Aye. Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote yes.
Great. Thank you. I have one question. When it comes time to do the permit, HAC, HLPC was combined for these two parcels onto a single application. Am I doing a single sign permit application for both sites, or do I have to do one for?
I would think that they would accept it as one. That's a decision for the Building
Okay.
Safety Division,
I'll
but
call
it
down there.
is a comprehensive signage package that
Okay.
just happens to be on two separate parcels. I think that they would probably handle it as one.
Okay, I'll follow up with them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, HAC is going to act.
Hang on.
Yes, and I need that back. You rather.
So for the HAC members, do I hear a motion to approve this as a type 2 action under seeker?
Motion?
Do I hear a second?
Second, Nettie?
Motion's on the floor. Any discussion? No, I'll call the roll. Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve, recommend endorsing
Preservation notice of action.
the preservation notice of action as approved by the HLPC?
Correct.
Word.
So moved, Nettie?
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Any other discussion? Sorry, I'm a child at heart. None? I'll call the roll. Janet,
Aye.
Nettie,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate your patience and guys doing great. It's very hard. It's very hard to be the chair. It's very hard to be the chair. A lot to remember.
I'm a kid,
Yeah.
so I try not to.
That's okay. That's a good way to live. Don't change.
All right.
I won't.
I will
there's-
entertain a motion to
There's
adjourn.
There's a couple of
HLPC.
decision
moved.
documents that are still going around, so make sure you don't leave.
All right, I hear a motion. Do I hear a second on a motion to adjourn?
Second, Kevin?
Thank you. I will call the roll. Kevin,
Aye.
Robert, aye. Nettie,
Aye.
I vote we adjourn.
Do I hear a motion for the,
Atta girl.
who motioned for that one for the HLPC?
Yes.
Robert motioned and, okay, and Kevin seconded. Okay. Thank you.
From the HAC, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Janet Moore.
Do I hear a second?
Nettie Morano, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Out. Okay, wait.
Back to you.